I think the obvious here is, man, D end, OLB-ish, we got some good depth. Inside linebacker, we got some good depth. I mean, those two spots, the safety / nickel, man, we got some depth and versatility. And because of that, that's where you draw from if something goes down in other areas.
It's an interesting way for roster construction. Totally understand what he's talking about. It almost feels like a little bit of draft prep. Dan Campbell talking about, the depth that this team has on the defensive line and linebacker at safety. I mean, there's going to be a good player cut in the defensive backfield. There's going to be a good player cut at linebacker. There's going to be a good player or two cut on the defensive line. Yeah. That's just where this defense is. And, by the way, one of the many reasons why I believe this football team is going to be much better this year is because I do project this defense to play a lot better than they did at any point. But Braylon is the third quarterback better than the fourth cornerback? Is defensive lineman 9 better than cornerback 5? You know what I mean? Like in deciding where you're going to keep an extra player at any different position. It almost feels like best available player, they're keeping them.
Yeah, it depends on the value that player has or that position has to the team at that specific given time. I mean, look at the Steelers, man. We talk about the Steelers all the time in terms of how a team has been built from the ground up and how they stay ground up. How many good players have the Steelers let go? Last time I checked, they let go of one this year, and we picked him up.
Snell.
You know what I'm saying? And then they
Cam Sutton,
thank
too.
you.
And Benny Snell.
Both of you guys are right. Both things can be true. But how many players have the Pittsburgh Steelers let go of that were damn good players? How many players have the 49ers let go of, and the Ravens? And the list goes on of teams that have stood the test of time, that teams are in the playoffs every year or they're in Super Bowl contention. That's what the Lions are now building to. So it's good that we have that problem. But to answer your question, it just depends on the position that need. Like if you're talking about how good is the third quarterback on a team that the second quarterback is pretty good and the team on the fourth DB isn't that good, well then it'll be that fourth DB or it'll be that fifth DB. We need him more than we need that third quarterback. It just depends on what you need going into the season and how that team is constructed and built.
I think Dave might have shortchanged the running backs a little because I'm worried about a guy like Craig Reynolds. And again, I brought this up yesterday. If the team is really good and Craig Reynolds can't make this type of team, I get it. I understand. Maybe someone else takes it. Maybe he goes to the practice squad. But there are a couple of things on here that, I don't know. Would you keep the extra quarterback? They were the team that actually petitioned the NFL to play the third quarterback. Yeah. So what happened to San Francisco last year in the playoffs wouldn't have happened if the Lions had their way. They would have had a third-string emergency quarterback. Otherwise, Christian McCaffrey would have been playing QB against the Eagles. So I don't know. Dave, I think, has got it really done well, but I think there's a couple of spots on here that I'd rather have someone else in that spot.
He did address that today, too. He said just because we proposed the emergency quarterback rule doesn't mean we're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. But, again, if we think our third quarterback is better than the 9th defensive lineman, then we're going to do that. And it's also interesting to see who they project, who they believe won't get picked up by anybody, and you could put them on the practice squad.
True. Yeah, 100%. It's all that. They have to go through waivers, clear out the waivers. And if they make it through waivers, then you can bring them back on your team, and that'd be a guy like Nate Sudfeld, But that 3 quarterback thing, you got Jared Goff, you have Teddy Bridgewater, and then you have, Adrian Martinez. So because obviously Hendon Hooker will be on the physically unable to perform list. So yeah, it's interesting to see how they'll play that out, though. But once again, it goes to what position is more important.
If you remember last year, they tried to sneak David Blau onto the practice squad.
Yep.
Remember?
I do remember that.
Who came up and took him?
Minnesota.
It was the Minnesota Vikings. They gambled a little bit on that, and they crapped out. Speaking of gambling, there is one man at Woodward Sports to go to when you need your lock on College game day. If you should take the under for the Bears on Sunday, or if you just need to know how many glizzies Joey Chestnut is going to house this year, that man is Booner of Woodward Sports. Have no fear. Booner is locking in all football season to bring you the best picks only on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel, Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m. Premieres. It's of September the 2nd, coming up in just a week or so. College football, he's got you. NFL football, you know it. Woodward Bets, watch it on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel, and Boone is right now in the chat as well, listening in.
What's up, Boone?
What up, Boone?
Just like those glizzy, that was a mouthful, man.
Hey, I read what they give me.
That was a mouthful.
Braylon, this is interesting. I want to bring this up in the chat. We've all thought about this. Robert Fournier in the chat put this out there.
Juicy Smooth, yeah. What?
Robert Fournier.
Okay,
Only downfall to cutting Sudsey, talking about Nate Sudfeld, is he can spill the offensive playbook to whoever he goes. How we always think like that. I think, the minute David Blau was picked up by the Minnesota Vikings last year within the division, we automatically went to the fact that, well, the Vikings clearly just want the Lions' offensive playbook.
Correct.
Right.
Is that legitimate? Is that something?
It's partially true.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to a linebacker when I was in New York last weekend, Florham Park. Shout out to the Jets. You know what it is.
Shout out.
He was saying one of the main reasons why the New York Jets picked him up from the team. Now, I won't disclose who he was, but one of the main reasons they picked him up, he was a dynamo as it relates to special teams for the team he was at. And when he came to New York, he's been giving them the playbook. It's better how they, some of their special teams are pointing out things, or this is what I see. So, yes, there are a lot of times you'll see players get picked up that can play, first of all. You're not just picking up anybody. Guy has to have some talent. But then, yes, that has played in the place and you're trying to get some advantage. But at the end of the day, man, that's been going on for years. Man, that's been going on for years. It's no quarterback that's going to leave this team, go to another team, and give them the edge over us like you think, or the old adage, if you leave your playbook in the hotel, now they got your players. Yeah, that's one thing. But when you get rid of a guy and you get his playbook and now you change things up when you're playing against that team. So guys will be fine. Nate Sudfeld isn't going to some other franchise like the Green Bay Packers or the Minnesota Vikings and going to hinder us once he got there. The Detroit Lions offense is set in stone. You want to beat the Detroit Lions offense, you got to beat them on the field, not with tricks and schemes.
It feels, Maz, a little bit like a Yankees Red Sox, though, too. When you do stuff like that, it's like, okay, I'm going to make a trade for Johnny Damon just so you don't make a trade for Johnny Damon kind of thing, right?
It's a block, man. They you know how they block each other. I won't use the word, but they do block each other.
Oh, my God. It's so funny. Braylon, this came out yesterday as well. Dave Burkett put it out. Lions are going to activate Hendon Hooker at some point this season.
Yeah.
They could keep him on NFI, non-football injury list, all season long and have an extra year of control of him. They are not going to do that. They're going to activate him so he can, become a free agent, go through the process, do your thing. I think that is just another example of this organization doing the right thing too. You don't want any. The Chicago Cubs, a long time ago, the first person I thought of was the Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
Chris Bryant ultimately won a World Series with him, all-star player. Now he plays for Colorado, I think, actually. But Chris Bryant earned a spot on the opening day roster back in, 2016.
Okay.
They made him go to the minor leagues for 12 days to keep an extra year of control under him, and then they brought him up. And I just thought this kid worked his whole life to make an opening day roster. And 12 days is 12 days, fine. I get it.
Yeah.
But it just felt so slimy. You know what I mean? He earned the spot.
Welcome to sports.
It did. He earned the spot, put him on the big league roster. He tore up exhibitions baseball, and they sent him to the minors so they can eke another year of eligibility out of him before he became a free agent. And that's the first person I thought of when I saw Dave Burkett's story yesterday. So I'm glad they're doing this for Hendon Hooker. It's the right thing.
At least they say they're doing it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of slimy owners as it relates to business, period. And that extends beyond sport. We were talking about some slimy owners before the show started that extended beyond football, if you know what I mean, Jersey Giant. But with that being said, the way the Detroit Lions are doing it, they're building it the right way. Everything they're trying to do is the right way, doing right by the players, doing right by the fans, doing right by the organization. They're building this thing in such a way. Now you look at players are going to be watching this and like, then that's a franchise I can mess with. That's a team I can get behind. That's some place that I would like to go and play my career. Hey, if I'm a coach, that's somewhere where I want to coach, because I've always said it was about the player. And this organization looks like they care about the player. Now I want to coach here. Now I want to be an insert job here at Allen Park. The Lions are doing it the right way, and they're continuing to get these little wins. Like, these wins will add up, and when you're looking at wherever the Lions are going to end up in the next 3 years, you're going to look at all these little wins, and you're going to put them like that, and they're going to be big wins to get where they ultimately want to be, which is the big dance, wherever that may be.
Does feel like they're just on the right direction. I saw Stephen A. Smith put his A-list top 5 teams in the NFC today. He left the Lions out of it, and
that's a talking piece, though.
Yeah, well, he had the top 3. I forgot what Eagles.
But you know he's gonna have Dallas on there.
Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys, and then he had number 4 Minnesota,
right?
And he had number 5 New Orleans, who nobody's talking about, and then Marcus Spears. I like Marcus Spears. I wish he was part of the
05 draft class, baby.
Yeah. I really like Marcus Spears. He is part of Monday Night Countdown, actually.
05 draft class.
Yeah,
I got Marcus Spears' story.
the only team I would put in there is the Lions. He gave him some pushback, so that was good.
Got a funny Marcus Spears story. I'll make it quick. So this is 2004, going to our senior year. The NCAA would allow, let's say Jerome Bettis camp. They would allow Jerome Bettis to fly up to 3, college athletes and bring them in and allow them to cover their room and their food. So this is back when we're trying to negotiate, in NCAA. I'll laugh at it. But anyway, Marcus Spears came in, Mark Clayton came in, wide receiver from Oakland, and Kevin Burnett, linebacker from Tennessee. Marcus Spears said, man, I heard about Detroit. He said, man, don't have me come up to Detroit and get shot. I was like, what? Come on, Speezy. You're not going. So he comes up. He does the camp with me. I took him to the fireworks. I shouldn't have took him to the fireworks. I take him to the fireworks at Hart's Plaza. And Detroit, they will show out for you. We got shot at. So we definitely got shot at. In 04. He was like, I thought you said I wasn't going to get shot at. I was like, hey, look, man, it's Detroit, man. It's unpredictable. So,
what do you mean you got shot at?
Well, they shooting downtown. They were shooting. We didn't do anything to get shot at.
Right,
but,
I get it.
Yeah, you got 300,000 people. You don't have to do anything to get shot at.
Oh, my God.
It happens on New Year's Eve as well.
So they're shooting up during New Year's. At the fireworks, they were shooting horizontal.
Oh, my God, that is so great.